Welcome, everyone, to It Tastes Different Gaming Appetizers. We're going to have a little different episode tonight. We're going to have a trip down memory lane with video game manuals. Where are they now? Because they sure as hell don't come with any new games I buy. Tonight, we're going to talk about a little nostalgia topic. Video game manuals, what we think, whether we think they should still come with them. What do we think? We'll go round robin here, and we'll start with Nick on this one. Nick, give us some fond memories of some video game manuals. And do you think they should still be here? Or do you think they got rid of them for good reason?
I think they should still be here. I miss video game manuals. That was always the first thing I would get out of the box when I went to rent a game, or if I bought a new game. That was the first thing I would look through, before I even popped the game into my Super Nintendo or N64 or whatever it was. I looked through the manual and read up on just everything top to bottom, just read all the stuff in there, or maybe just flip through it and read certain parts that I was interested in. But I love the manual because you got an idea of the game and what you're going to find in the game, weapons, enemies, kind of how the game works. And they were just cool. I have a manual here for Resident Evil Outbreak on PlayStation 2. And flipping through this, this one's black and white, but it's still a cool thing. And I just love it, and at the end here, I can win tickets to Resident Evil Apocalypse. So maybe I'll get to go to the theaters and see it. I don't know. But I wish they still included it. I mean, clearly there was no reason to get rid of it. It didn't save us any money. Video games are more expensive than they were when they had manuals, right? So, if they were thinking, oh, well, manuals will reduce the cost. Well, maybe for them it did, but for us it didn't, right? So yeah, I miss the manual. I hate getting a box. I love the artwork on the outside of a box, a game box. I like that, but I hate opening up a game box and there's nothing in it besides a disc, or there's nothing in it, especially on the Switch. It's like this big empty space and there's a little SD card sitting at the bottom, right? And it's like, that's it? What's all the plastic for? Just the cover? Why don't you just ship me the SD card and I'll just pop it in, tell me it's Pokemon. I'll hope for the best when I stick it in my Switch. I'm surprised they haven't gone to little baggies for your Switch games, and then for PlayStation and Xbox they just switched those little sleeves that you slide discs into, and they just wrote on there Resident Evil Village. Here you go. Better yet, more than likely they just give you a Post-it note with the digital code, download code on it. Here you go, kid. Resident Evil Village, just for you. You just got to enter in that number on the store online and download the game. Well, thanks. I'm glad I came in here. So, yeah, I don't know why they got rid of all that crap. I wish it was still around. I love getting that and looking through all that stuff. And manuals were the coolest thing to have in your game. And it sucks that they're gone. And they're never going to come back, but I wish they did. Especially if they're going to keep selling physical games. Include a manual in there. You include some games include all sorts of stupid crap in them. At least put a manual in there with it, especially if you're going to sell if you're going to sell $500 collector's editions, stick a manual in it, right? Maybe that's part of the collection. You get a manual in the box. Holy crap. There's a manual in the box. But that's what I think. What about you, Shane?
Oh man, I just love to hear you rant about something. That's god dang precious because you don't do it very often. When you do, man, I'm about to get burned from your passion. I agree with you. You go to Blockbuster or Entertainment, well, not Entertainment, but the old movie galleries and stuff. You go to rent the game, you look at the box, you look at the back, and if you're lucky, you do this. And the Holy Grail, you got lucky. There's a freaking instruction manual in there, so you can peruse through it real quick. And then, it gave you an idea of what the game was really about. You get home, you're not totally surprised when this game turns out to be what you were expecting, not a complete 180. Not shit, I was wrong. The instruction books now, you can go on PlayStation. I believe Microsoft has the same thing. You can go to the websites and do it there. Some of them have the instruction manuals built in. You can go in and read. It's stupid. I don't like it. I want to pull out my box, open my box up, I get my instruction manual, Final Fantasy VIII. Now, unfortunately, at the end of Final Fantasy VIII, I don't get a chance to watch Resident Evil Apocalypse, but I do get a limited warranty and a really cool cover art. See, isn't that beautiful? That's beautiful, right, guys? Say it's beautiful, Pat. Damn it.
He's the most beautiful man in school.
That's right. So it's instruction booklets. You know, they were just they were part of the experience of getting a new game. I mean, it really was. It's without them now, you're losing a part of the experience, and I don't like that. I never really read through an entire manual. I perused it, found what I needed, where I was screwing up in the game. Boom, good to go. I don't need all the other crap. I figured it out. I'm a guy. It's what I do. I get lost for a while. I ask one person for directions, then I stab them so they don't tell nobody. And that's what instruction booklets are. Instruction booklets in a game are not just nostalgia, man. They were just part of the experience. And now that experience has been taken away. I mean, can you get the tutorials in the game? That's fine. You can get the instructions in the game itself. That's just not the same now. It's just not that waxy paper. So I don't know. I'm depressed. Damn it. Now I'm just depressed. Pat, you talk. I'm going to go take a pill.
Yeah. I mean, I remember as a kid, the same thing, right? You would go into Blockbuster or Family Video or any of these video rental places that used to exist back in the day. Or even if you went to Walmart or the store and your parents bought you a copy of a game, you know, the car ride home was like awesome because you were reading the back of that game cover like there was some hidden secret map message in there, you know, and you're just like perusing through it. And then you take off the plastic and you crack it open and you pull out that manual and you just go to town. You're like, okay, when I get home, I'm going to be ready to play. You know, there was none of this 2-hour long tutorial crap or an hour-long tutorial. It was like the manual told you what you need to know. And if you didn't read it, you might get lucky and there'd be a tooltip in the game. But more often than not, the tooltips weren't in the game. So, you know, that was the whole thing, that 20-minute, 30-minute, or if you live really far away like we did sometimes, an hour car ride home would get you ready for that game. That was the getting ready for the game. That was the tutorial. And that to me was fun childhood. I guess nowadays, if a kid wants to learn about it, they just buy the game, leave it in the bag, and read their phone on the way home. I mean, that's not very fun. That's not. You need that paper in your hand. Yes. Or, you know, maybe you were special and you got the Prima guide on the way home too. But, you know, that wasn't very lucky. The Prima guides were super expensive back when I was a kid. So.
But how many times did you guys go to Walmart with your parents or whatnot, and I'm going to go to the electronics while they do their shopping or whatnot, and you go get those Prima guides, and hopefully you got the one that's already been ripped open from the plastic, and you sat and you read that thing, and you took notes because you brought a pencil and some paper. How many times have you guys done that?
Well, you know what killed that, right? Cell phones killed that, because then you just went in there and you're like...
Yeah,
whole thing. But then the internet did kill that, because then you could just find out forums where people talked about how they did this. So yeah, the internet probably killed a lot of things, right? Because I think the internet is probably what put the death nail in these, especially digital content. Because, you know, you buy the game digitally, you don't get a manual. They figure, why do you need to put a manual in the box in if people can download? You just go online and read that. I believe Nick's probably right. They were like, oh, we can save money. The game companies save money, but they didn't pass that savings on to us. And now that digital sales constitute for about half of all of their sales, there's no reason that game should cost $60 or $70 when they don't have shipping and logistics and all that other crap is their thing. But we never see that as gamers. We just get told to bend over and take it. So, and the price stays the same or it goes up. So, but I really like the manuals and I would like them in my game boxes. But at some point, you know, everybody was like, it's killing the planet, right? You create all these game manuals in paper and, you know, I don't know. But in my opinion, a used game, when you find a used game with the manual still intact, it's like the Holy Grail. Because a lot of times you'll get a game at these like Entertain Mart, and we have the place out there by Shane's, the little retro gaming place out there, Game World. And you go in there and half the time you open the box and the manual's not in there. And you're like, I know this game came with a manual. Where is it? Some
Yeah.
kid probably took it out, left it out while they were playing their game, because we all know you had your little brother or little sister who would take the discs out and set them on top of the entertainment center, and not put them back in the case. So,
Yeah, I've still got kids that do that crap. Drives me nuts.
but at least now with the PlayStation and Xbox discs, they're way more resilient because they're not the old DVD style. So they're way more scratch resistant and resilient. Because I remember back in the day, they used to make the old self-repair disc stations at home with the crank on it, so it
I had
resurfaced them. Yeah,
I
you did.
had several of them when I worked at Movie Gallery. They had a big fancy machine, man. You put the lube on it and you put it down there, and you had to monitor it real careful. And yeah, I mean, that was just badass. But
Yeah.
you don't get that now. But
Yeah,
that's
the
a good
old
thing about digital.
Yeah, the old family video back in the day where we lived at used to do. They would resurface your disc for like 50 cents or a quarter or something. You could bring in your games and they would resurface it for you in that machine, which was kind of cool.
I think Blockbuster did that too. I want to say.
Yeah, I think they all did at one point because they found out they could make money with a machine they had to buy anyway to fix the disc that people's DVD player,
I
Blu-ray
remember they
player
used to do
ate.
that with VCR, or not. They wouldn't fix it, but I remember that locally there was a guy that, be kind, please rewind. They would have there's a local video shop, and they used to go in there and rewind all the tapes and stuff like that, behind the thing. And so, and they would like, fix the tapes that were broken and stuff, or like, because you had to wind up the reel, in the back. Some kid pulled out all the reel and
Yeah. Do you remember taking the VHS tapes you bought for whatever movie or not? And then you're like, oh man, you know what? This is on TV. And then you put that little piece of tape over that hole in the back of the VHS tape so you could record over it.
No, we weren't pirates like you, Shane. We weren't. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Did I say copy over? I meant bought a brand new one,
Right.
not on Cinemax.
Right. Or for whatever reason, they came out with the dual head VCR where you could have two tapes in one.
I had one
thing.
of those. Yeah.
It's like-
and you could copy movies onto it.
Yeah, it's for copying your home movies,
Yep.
so you can have duplicate copies.
Oh, yeah. Or when they released the
Home
DVD
movies. Home movies.
VHS combo.
Right.
And, you may or may not be able to record shit. So,
Your home movies. Your home
Yeah,
movies.
Home movies.
exactly.
You got to back up those home movies. You know?
Exactly.
So-
I want to remember my kids forever.
Right. You want to remember your wedding and the birth of your kids.
Remember who? Oh.
But yeah, I mean, I love the manuals. I remember opening them up, and especially the full color ones too.
Yeah.
Like Nintendo always had full color manuals. Like you'd open it up and it's just full of Nintendo colors and little characters halfway through the manual just doing weird stuff. Open up a manual to a page and you got Mario riding Yoshi, you know, or them chasing turtle shells or something. And you're just like,
almost
this is
a
cool.
comic book. It's almost
Right.
a comic book. Yeah.
Had like a storyboard in it. And now you don't get that. You open up this, like as Nick said, this huge case for a Nintendo Switch game that you could chop down into 25% of the case size and still have room in it. Because every time I open up a Switch one, I'm like, why? If we're talking about killing trees, we're killing the environment with all this plastic. Because it's all an empty case.
There's
nothing else in it.
This is what you get now. Nothing.
Well, that's
but, a
but
disc.
at least that disc fills up like a half of the
Yeah.
case on one side. But the Switch one doesn't even fill up half the case.
But you
I mean, it
don't
doesn't
even
fill up
get.
an eighth.
But you don't even get the offers hardly anymore, or the advertisements for another game. You don't really see
No, you don't
that
do that.
anymore.
No, you get
And-
like I got a couple of games that came with the warranty card, but that was about it, and a code
Yeah.
for something.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're definitely right. Internet killed it. I mean, literally my first foray into internet world was for video games, going to the local library and finding codes and cheats and strategies and spending 10 cents a copy, printing all this stuff out. And it's, it's sad that it did kill it in that way. But the internet also, launched a whole new way of cheating in your games too. Do you guys remember Game Shark and Game Genie? You could connect to the internet with those and download new games and updates and blah, blah, blah. And then it got to the point, well, everything's being played online with people now. So, and then those cheats are basically destroying games and destroying the fun people are having, even to this day. So give me back my instruction manuals because I enjoy the feel, I enjoy the look, and I love to see this when I open up the box. I mean,
Right.
it feels complete.
I agree with Nick too, because what gets me so mad anymore is that when you buy like special editions or collector's edition or heaven forbid steelbook, the word steelbook, and all you get is a metal container with the game in it. And I'm like, where's the book? Where's the manual?
Yep.
Bring back the manuals with the collectors and special editions and steelbook edition. It just makes sense, right?
Yeah, it's in the fucking name. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it even makes less sense when you buy, because they're even doing stupider things, like when you buy collector's edition of games anymore, the game's not in there.
No.
It's a whole bunch of crap and no game. And I'm like, but I'm buying all this because I want the collectors. I want the whole thing in my hand. I don't want to have to go online and download a dang disc, a dang copy of the game. So game developers and publishers do some weird stuff anymore. I'm torn. I do want my book back because it just makes it seem like I'm getting a little bit more for my money, and I like flipping through them. Even though I didn't read them all the time, I still flipped through them and looked at the art and looked at the cool stuff. But they just keep on finding a way to screw you over even more. We'll charge you $200 for a collector's edition. It doesn't come with the game and doesn't come with anything other than an art book, but no instruction book.
Yep.
We can't have that.
Next will be a steel book without anything.
Without the game. And I think there is some of those out there. I've seen steel books that don't even come with the game. It's just a steel case. And you're like, where's my game? What do I put in this empty slot?
Yeah, that's right. There was a really huge game that was coming out. Wasn't it like a Ghost of Tsushima? They had a big collector thing, and it was a steel book, and there was no game included.
I think Ghost of Tsushima did have one where the game was not included, and it was more of it was a collector's edition. And it might be a different game, but I know what you're talking about. It was collector's edition, and the game wasn't even there. I mean, not even a download code. The game wasn't even a part of the package.
Exactly.
Wow.
It was just all the extras, basically.
So you didn't
like
buy
$300 or $400
collectible. You didn't buy a steelbook game collection thing. You just bought goddamn toys. You bought, you. That's just that's a robbery to me. That's just a big scam. I don't know.
I mean, back in the day, our game manuals had a notes section. Remember, they used to have a notes section, so you could write down your passwords or anything that you're like, I need to remember this.
Resident Evil, where you could write it down so you can remember what the
notes.
Code on the dead body said. Yeah,
right. So yeah, I mean, we don't need that type of stuff anymore. I understand like the notes section and everything, and I understand that we don't really necessarily need the manuals because yes, they are online. But I would still like to have them because I enjoy looking through a manual and just seeing all the different stuff in here, right? Like I can go out and get the Bradley Games, guide for this game, and also Onimusha 3 is coming out. Who knew? In 2014. So
oh man, I can't
looking
wait
forward to that one.
Right.
Or 2004. I'm sorry, not 2014, 2004.
But now nothing comes with a guide, really. I mean, the most recent game that I bought that had something in it was, I think I got Final Fantasy VII Remastered, and it has the warranty card in there, and then the code for me to download the Intergrade or whatever online. So it comes with a regular Final Fantasy on the PlayStation 5 disc, but a code for the Intergrade thing, and I'm just like, okay, where's my manual? I want my manual. So it's a lot of wasted space. We're killing a bunch of whatever. We're dredging up a bunch of dinosaur oil so we can make cases instead of killing trees. So one way or the other, I can understand if it's a full digital. If you're downloading digital, you can't expect to get a manual, right? But if I'm buying a physical copy of something and I'm paying the same as the guy who bought digital, I should get the manual. Come on, guys. So I want it back. We all want it back. Especially being a collector, what little bit of stuff I do buy, I want to collect it and I want to keep it. So I really want that stuff to be complete, because that's what I look for when I buy anything retro. If I'm going to spend my hard-earned money on a retro anything, I want the manual with it, because that's going to be the selling point for me. And I have been known to buy, pay a little extra for the manual to be included because I want it. I'm sure we all have, right? So. Cool. Anybody else got anything they want to touch on this topic before we wrap it up? I'm sure we could talk all night on video game manuals and how they helped our childhood and what we did.
No, just bring back my toilet reading material because I love this stuff. I mean, I was looking through here as we were talking, and RPGs. I was thinking RPGs have the best game manuals because there's not just a cover sheet. There's artwork through each little sheet. There's always little artworks and details of something in here, and I love RPG books. I totally forgot how much I love these until we started doing this. And now I am just moody as hell that they don't do it no more.
I could see Shane carrying like 5 or 6 game boxes in the bathroom with him so he can flip it open and pull the manuals out.
Well, that's if it's, I know I'm not going to be in there long.
Right. If it's going to be a session, he's going to bring in his whole collection.
Oh, yeah. Bringing a few of those Bradley guides.
He's got a few Prima guides running around in there.
Yeah.
He's like, I think I'm going to pick up Zelda. Let me grab my Prima guide for that one.
Yep.
All right. All right. Anything else from anybody?
Nope.
All right. Well, let us know what you guys think. Do you miss manuals in games? Do you even buy physical games anymore? I know a lot of us buy digital for the Xbox, but I buy a lot of stuff that I want to collect and keep for my Xbox and my Switch because I don't buy digital on those very often. So let us know what you do. Do you collect? Do you not care? Are you mad at us for killing trees? Are you mad at the game industry for dredging up all that dinosaur oil? Tell us what you think. Make sure you like and subscribe. Share with your friends. Let them know. Let them know to come check us out. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we hope to catch you in the next one.
See ya.